Guten Morgen and buongiorno, my subscribers. Today we're looking at the fixed protocol, but from the perspective of some of the most common tags to be concerned with as a support personnel. I don't know if I'm wording that the exact way that I want to, but what I'm trying to say is that these tags are not the most popular or the most relevant. That's not what I'm trying to say here. Basically, as a support personnel, the kinds of tags that you're going to be concerned with is going to vary depending on your environment and the type of job you're doing. Are you doing certifications, application support? You are a connectivity engineer? Whatever your job is, it's going to vary what types of tags you're going to be mostly focused on. So what I'm giving you is, from my perspective, some of the tags that have been most relevant to me doing my job. So again, mileage may vary depending on what job you're doing, what company you're working at, what environment you're in. But I would say probably a simple way to put it is the tags I'm going to talk about in this video. I would say for someone that is new to the fixed protocol, for you to learn these tags and be very familiar with these tags would be very advantageous for your future in terms of doing any kind of work where you're looking at fixed messages. Now again, depending on your job, you may end up looking at a subset of these tags that are more relevant to your job. Maybe you're doing algorithmic trading and a lot of custom tags and things like that. You have algo parameters and things like that, or maybe you're just doing straight equity, so you don't get involved in those tags. But I think these are good fundamental tags that pretty much anyone that's getting into fixed should know. So the way I'm going to do this is we're going to actually use Direct Edge. Like, they have their own fixed specification. Not that it's their own thing, but basically you have the base fixed specification that comes from fixedprotocol.org, and then you have various exchanges that have variations on those specifications. Let's just say Direct Edge has a unique order type that only exists on their exchange or in their system. Then you need a way to specify or to trigger that particular order type. So there may be a tag that's unique only to Direct Edge, so therefore that tag would be listed in Direct Edge's specification. So for example, just to further clarify, if we look at the specification, let's go down to where it begins. Tag 8, tag 9, tag 35, these are all standard tags, 49, 56, 34, 50, all standard tags. So it's not like this is a whole, their own, Direct Edge specification. They don't use begin string, they use starting string, so it's not like that. But you may see once in a while, like maybe, let's just say, this is a standard thing, but let's just say the business message reject is something unique to their environment. So normally you would just see 0 through G, for example. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump right into it. So again, I'm just going to point out, I'm just going to scan through this thing, and whatever I see that looks like a tag that is very popular from a support perspective, I'm going to point it out. Begin string. Definitely, first of all, because you want to know what fixed version you're looking at. Maybe the session was misconfigured and you notice, wait a minute, why is begin string 4.0 and this is a 5.0 session? Client is logging in with the wrong fixed version. So there is the reason why they're having problems. Incompatible. Should be logging with the same version, right? Fix 4.2 to fix 4.2. So tag 8, begin string, required. Body length, I don't really care about that. Message type, very, very important. Typically you're looking at messages, you're looking at a log. How are you going to know what type of message you're looking at? You got to know what message type, right? So you got to look at tag 35. Most common tag 35 for me and for many of you is probably going to be tag. It's going to be a value of uppercase D, new order single. That's indicating that you're looking at an order. Also logons when the session starts. I would say order cancel reject as well. Someone's trying to cancel an order, it gets rejected. The cancel request gets rejected. An execution report, that's going to be a very popular value for tag 35. That's going to be all your executions, all your fills, your partials. 39 equal 1, partial fills. 39 equals 2, full complete fill. And let's see, log out, so end of a session, that's how you're going to close your session. You're going to send a 35 equals 5 log out message. Session reset is something you may deal with from a connectivity standpoint. You need to reset your sequence numbers. Maybe someone didn't log out at the end of the day and they try to log in with a high sequence number, so you got to send a sequence reset so you can get to 1 and 1 so you can start your session properly. 35 equals 3, session reject. That's something that's going to be common as well. You're investigating someone that's having a reject issue, might be a 35 equals 3. Resend request. So maybe this is also another common thing from a connectivity standpoint. Maybe someone, you're looking at your system's looking at the sequence numbers, and it seems like they're not in sequence. So like a sequence number is missing. You went from 12 to 14 or something like that. So you might send a resend request, and then you will set in that message which sequence numbers you're looking for. Send me this through that, and then you get a response back. There's test requests. That's also very popular in connectivity. Heartbeats as well. You have a heartbeat interval that's set up in when you configure a fixed session. So you could set it 30 seconds. Every 30 seconds you send a heartbeat, and the expectation is that you're going to get a heartbeat back from the counterpart of the connection. So let's see what else we have. Business message reject. I haven't really seen many of those, but I would say that's good to know. So I would say in general, you probably should know all the message types. Pretty much, because all of these message types I've looked at and have been relevant to so many scenarios. This is pretty much like the back of my hand type of thing. I mean, this is very, very relevant. I think pretty much to anyone. I mean, how are you going to look at a fixed message? You don't know what type it is, right? You got to know. That's one of the first things I want to know when I'm looking at fixed message. What is the type of message? You know what I mean? Other stuff you can be optional depending on what you're doing, but you got to know the type, right? So 35, I would say hugely relevant. Know that inside and out. The sender comp, target comp. This is your kind of your routing tags. I would say this is also very important because this is like addressing on an envelope, right? I need to know where the message is coming from. I need to know where it is bound for. So who sent this letter and who are they sending it to? Just like with the mail system, right? You have all these letters being sent all over the world, and it shows up in some random post office. I don't know the person who sent this letter. I don't know anything about this letter. All I know is what's on the letter. What's the sender comp? Who sent the letter? And who are they sending it to, the target comp ID. So very, very important to know those tags. Message sequence number, that's also important. I think this is maybe more from a connectivity standpoint. So, bringing on new sessions, and you may run into session issues, or you may have a client that calls you up and says you can't connect and things like that. So very good to know this particular tag, so you know where to find the sequence numbers to see if there's a sequence number issue, which is can be quite common for the whole logon process. Sender sub ID, I would say that's also very important as well, because that's letting me know exactly kind of potentially who the trader is that sent the order. So you may know your clients by some kind of a user ID, maybe first name, last initial type of thing. And you're on the phone with Mr. Jackson. He's Chris Jackson, and you look at a message and it says C Jackson, tag 50 equals C Jackson. Good potential indication depending on the environment, of course. Definitely depending on the environment that you're in. You got to know your environment. Depending on your environment, that could be enough for you to know, like, okay, this is probably his order. Now, you're going to want to be a little bit more sure than that, but a lot of times with analyzing fixed logs, you kind of have to use kind of context clues. You got to use your good judgment. It's kind of a process of investigation, I can't think of the word I'm thinking to say right now, but basically you got to look at what the facts are that you have. I'm talking to Guy C. Jackson. He sent an order for a symbol of IBM. He said he sent the order an hour ago, and the more information you have, the closer and closer you get to locking in on his exact order or whatever it is that you're investigating. But obviously, the most important thing you want to know is the actual order itself. So an order ID or a client order ID, which is going to tell you exactly what the order is. But what if you don't know that? Sometimes you have to figure it out. Maybe you have to go through, running SQL queries and, orders for quantities between 100 and 500, on this symbol, whatever it is. But anyway, still, sender sub ID, definitely a good tag to know. Target sub ID, same kind of thing. Maybe you're targeting a trader at a firm. So I'm targeting. Let's just say I'll just I'll make up a firm. You're targeting Carlisle Trading, so that's you sending it to my brokerage, right? And then you are targeting J Johnson, which is the trader at my firm. So target comp ID 57 equals J Johnson, and you yourself, your name is Tom Wilson. So your sender sub ID, which is right here, sender sub ID could be whatever name I just said, Tom Wilson, I think I said, so T Wilson, that's who's sending it. So T Wilson is sending it to J Johnson. So these are the individuals potentially, or maybe a desk, could be also the desk at the firm, and this will be kind of a firm level, so it could be like a brokerage, something like that. So pause dupe, this is a connectivity tag, or connectivity, more connectivity relevant type of tag, because maybe you send a resend request. I think I'm missing messages, so I request you to send me the messages again. I want you to send me sequence numbers 50 through 60, and then in those messages, maybe you send me something that I already have. So this as you see is actually not a required field, or not a required tag at all. But there is a situation where you may be sending messages that may have been sent already, so you could put the pause dupe flag, so you could have it 43 equals Y, so it's a pause dupe. Now there's also pause resend, which, as it says, indicates possible retransmission of a message. So that's also another good tag. That's more again, connectivity relevant type of tag. Sending time, that's good to know as well. You want to know you're investigating something. The guy says he sent it at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You want to match up tag 52 to match with that information that the customer gave you over the phone. Moving along, we have original sending time. So maybe the message was resent, for example, and it could be an original sending time listed on the order. So let's see. Check some needed but rarely used. Let's see. So log on. I think that covers most of the basics. Now they're getting into categories of messages, like administrative messages. So 35 equals A, that's a login. That's something very common. You're going to look at from a connectivity standpoint, or if you're doing certifications, you're definitely going to need to know this stuff. You can set your heartbeat interval, how often you're going to be, because basically with the heartbeat, you're going back and forth. You're kind of saying, are you there? Yes, I'm there. Are you there? Yes, I'm there. Are you there? Yes, I'm there. So it's kind of, you're checking to see if whoever you're connected to, that they're still connected. Because if a period of time goes by and there's no order activity, no execution activity, how do you know that your connection is still valid? Maybe the whoever you're connected to had a problem, their system's frozen, or who knows what's going on. But with the heartbeats, you can kind of validate that the session is still active. Moving along, let's see, message type of 0. So it's heartbeat, and that's actually the heartbeat message that we just talked about. And then we have a test request. So you can actually trigger a heartbeat with this. So you can send a 35 equals 1, and they should respond back with a heartbeat, 35 equals 0. Resend request. So here's what we talked about earlier. So you maybe you're missing some sequence number. So I can actually go and send a 35 equals 2, and I can set a range between this and that. So 7, so tag 7 equals 20. Tag 16 equals 30. So what am I saying? If I send you a message, a 35 equals 2 with a 7 equals 20 and a 16 equals 30, what am I saying? I'm saying, number one, it's a resend request, right? So I'm asking you to resend something. What am I asking you to resend? 7 equals 20. What does the 20 mean? 20 means sequence number, right? So I'm saying send me starting from sequence number 20 and ending with sequence number 30. So 16 equals 30. So that's pretty simple. Here's a reject scenario. 35 equals 3. So it's session reject. And we can have a reference sequence number. So what message are you rejecting? I'll need to have that to know what message you're rejecting. So you can say 45 equals 20. 20, sequence number 20 is a message that I'm rejecting. So I'm going to conclude right here this part 1 of this video. I think I'll do another part 2. We'll probably get this done. You are watching Carlisle Speaks Wall Street, and we're going over the Fix protocol for people that are just getting into it and looking to do a support role, whether it's connectivity, application support, or whatever it is, and recommending some tags that you should be very familiar with. So if you find this helpful, definitely subscribe, thumbs up the video, and share this with your colleagues. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.